Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedra Terumah, and in order to describe the Sedra, I'd like to tell you a story about a man named Moshe. Moshe looked at all the choices. He had signed up for this conference months ago at a friend's suggestion. He said, you'll meet new people, you'll hear interesting ideas, and then his friend had nudged enough that Moshe agreed. Moshe scanned the list of talks, and one stuck out at him: the uniqueness of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe always wondered why his parents had named him Moshe, and maybe here was his chance to find out. Moshe entered the talk and waited until the talk began. The speaker opened up his address with a quote from this week's Sedra, in which God instructed Moshe to make an ark of pure gold, make 2 golden cherubim, which were like statues of winged angels, and place the ark cover on the ark from above. And into the ark you shall place the testimony, the Torah, which I will give you. God then told Moshe, I will arrange my meetings with you at the most inner room of the tabernacle of the Mishkan, and I will speak with you from atop the ark cover, from between those 2 cherubim that are upon the ark of the testimony. All that I command you unto the children of Israel, that's where it'll come from. Rashi noticed the problem with Hashem's instructions. Later in the Torah, God wrote that when talking to Moshe, he spoke to him from the tent of meeting. The tent of meeting was the Mishkan outside the dividing curtain, while the ark was within the dividing curtain. It would seem that the 2 verses contradict each other. Therefore, a 3rd verse from even later in the Torah reconciled them, and Rashi brings up this 3rd verse, which stated that when Moshe came to the tent of the meeting, he heard the voice speaking from atop the ark cover. This verse helps us understand that Moshe would enter the Mishkan, and as soon as he came within the doorway, a voice would descend to the place between the cherubim, for where it emanated and was heard by Moshe in the tent of meeting. This might seem interesting, the speaker told his audience, but if we pay attention to Rashi's description of Moshe's conversations with God, we find something odd. Moshe didn't experience any of the common side effects of prophecy. The professor went on to explain. In his book, The Mishnah Torah, the Rabbi wrote that a prophet only receives prophetic visions in a visionary dream or during the day when slumber has overtaken them. Their limbs tremble, the physical powers become weak, they lose control of their senses, and thus their minds are free to comprehend what they see. It seems that Moshe would just hear a voice in the Mishkan and go on with his day. The speaker explained that the Rambam addressed the differences between Moshe's prophecy and other prophets. While prophecy was bestowed upon all the prophets in a dream or a vision, Moshe would prophesy while standing awake. All the other prophets were overawed, terrified, and confounded by the revelations they experienced, but Moshe would not be. Just as a person isn't awestruck when talking to his friend, so too Moshe's mental powers were sufficient to comprehend the words of prophecy while he was standing in a composed state. The speaker explained that this was Moshe's uniqueness. It wasn't his ability to produce the 10 plagues or his emancipation of the Jewish people or even of his splitting of the sea. Moshe's uniqueness was in his ability to perceive God in such a clear fashion that he could communicate face to face with God. The only way he reached this level was through his amazing knowledge and awareness of God. This, the speaker concluded, is man's challenge as well, to understand and to appreciate God. Moshe is called our teacher not simply because he taught us the Torah, but because his relationship with God acts as a paradigm for man to follow. Moshe, the one in our story, not Moshe Rabbeinu, heard the lesson and its message. He understood his name was chosen by his father as an example and a message to him, his son, to strive even further in developing his relationship with God. It's a lesson for all of us. Shabbat Shalom.